Hey there folks, it's your friends Glenn and Slim here on the almost world famous Cactus Atlas, about to take you along with us with our first dirt road adventure of 2026 up Mount Ord in Arizona. This will be a first for me, and you can see, and I can kind of see the road cut into the mountain up there. We're going way up there, I believe to about 7,000 feet or something like that. Mainly just for a scenic drive right on the outskirts of the Sonoran Desert, up the Beeline Highway, Route 87, which you can actually see right there. Now I'll give you some trail stats here in a moment. When we get in the truck, I'll describe the route we're doing in case it's something you're interested in doing or just want to know. But like I said, Route 87, the Beeline Highway, is right out there. We're about halfway, I'd say, halfway-ish between the Fountain Hills, Arizona area and Payson, Arizona, if you're familiar with that. I think Payson might be another 30 miles or so from here. So we're stopping here today. We're not going all the way up north, kind of a day trip for me. But it's beautiful. It's where kind of where the Saguaro Sonoran Desert that most are familiar with when you think of Arizona. Probably on the other side of this mountain, down a ways, is where that all ends, and we climbed an elevation, and it starts to turn into, you'll see a lot more pinyon pine up this way, and eventually, not too far from here, it will turn into ponderosa pine forest. I'm curious if we're gonna see some ponderosa pine when we get up there. I don't think we're looking at the peak. I don't think we can see over this, is my guess, but the road is right here. We're here at the start on the northern approach. I'll describe why I did what I did, and like I said, we'll go over the particulars here once we get in the vehicle and get all my cameras set up on good old Slim there. Other than that, I just wanted to kind of do a warm-up. I'm gonna be doing a lot more stuff like this on this channel in the immediate future. So I thought this would be, I'd say it should be a pretty easy drive is my guess. The rougher spots are gonna be up front is my understanding. Get those out of the way first, but thought this would be a good warm-up. Haven't used my equipment in quite a while, so a little bit rusty, and it's a beautiful day out here in early April of 2026. So I say let's stop dilly-dallying and let's get in the truck, and I'll talk about the route a little bit. All right, Slim has got the cameras mounted. I am ready. Everything seems to be in working order after my tests, other than Slim needing a shower. But first things first is we got to open up this gate. You can see here, it's okay to do it. In fact, they're just basically telling you there is probably some free-range cattle. So this should be mostly BLM public lands back here, but livestock does graze here that can be used for that purpose. And all they really want you to do is to close the gate so that cows don't escape up onto the busy thoroughfare out there. This one's tougher than usual. Might need both hands here. I'm gonna cut myself if I'm not careful. Man, this one's, they don't mess around with this. There we go. Basically, you'll see a lot of this on dirt roading, so it's totally legit. I'm gonna just get my hands free so I can take care of this properly here. Give me a moment. All right, you should be able to see straight ahead. I got the fence opened. Definitely a low-tech solution, I'd say. You pretty much have to disable the whole thing. It's laying on the ground, so kind of a, I mean, it works. But we are entering officially the Mount Ord route. Who's excited here? I'm excited. I am. Let me go close that gate up now, and then we are locked in. No escaping now. Alrighty, I think everything should be in order. I was just reviewing the route. Let's take a look at the stats. I use Onyx Off-Road, of course. If you've been following me for a long time, it's what I use to navigate these roads, and I've got it pulled up on my dash. Didn't pull down I thought I pulled down a offline map. I must be crazy. I didn't, but I have it loaded. So the stats are, it's probably about 15 miles from point to point where I'm starting and where I'm going to end up. So it looks like we're going to ascend this mountain up to about 7,000 feet. And there's like a little spur at the end, I think, to get to the peak. Then we'll come back down that spur and out the other side. So I overshot the first entrance to get to this road, a few miles south of here, opted to come all the way up to the northernmost point and hit this first based on the person that reviewed on Onyx mentioned that the roughest spots are right in the beginning or near the beginning. Here's one right here. So this is evidence, I would say, that high clearance is probably something you need. And I'm kind of losing sight of the road a little bit. I am using four-wheel drive, just FYI. I think I may have read that, you know, you can use two-wheel drive or something, but I don't know about that. Looks like we might start off with some Arizona pinstripes here, maybe. They look pretty soft, whatever those are. But yeah, this is just going to be a scenic off-road drive. I've never done this. It's a part of Arizona that I've never seen. So we'll see what we find at the top. I couldn't really spot any definitive points of historic interest on this particular route, so I'm kind of chalking up this adventure to be more of the scenic dirt road variety. Little right off the bat, it was kind of hard to see where the actual road went. There's several little offshoots down there that went to like parking areas or probably staging areas for people with side-by-sides. The road is pretty overgrown back here though. I'm guessing it hasn't been that traveled. Very good, you know, the person that wrote the review mentioned this is a very good route for the summertime because we're going to go up high and, you know, potentially cool off. And we've been having a heat wave here in like late March, early April in Arizona. So I'm looking forward to any cooler temps we can have. But yeah, you can see the road is pretty rough. Very off camber here right off the bat. Very steep drop-offs. So it sounds like you get this out of the way early on, the kind of the white knuckle sections where you have more potential for some washed out sections I've already seen. And then it sounds like it's smooth sailing once we get past the initial rough spots. Oh yeah, look at this. This is really, really washed out here. So actually, I don't even know if we can do this. This is pretty bad, actually. This is very bad looking. I need to get out on foot and survey this. Let's go take a peek. Might be the end of the episode, actually. All right, so I'm gonna really think about this here carefully. This is ugly. I mean, right there, that is several feet down. It's too wide to straddle, I think, each side. I'm thinking the best bet is to stay off to the right, keep my right tire up here as much as possible. I think we can do this. I mean, Slim's fully capable. It's just I don't want to, I'm out here alone. Make sure there's nobody else behind me here. Fun times. The guy wasn't kidding. We're just gonna scout on foot a little bit further. You got all this twisted metal here. So yeah, you're not coming up here in a passenger vehicle. I'm just gonna call it right now for whoever wants to ask. I would not advise it. And if you decide to turn around, that's gonna be a fun time too. We're gonna keep on walking. Make sure there's not any other really gnarly surprises before I commit to this, because I'm gonna try. Yeah, up here it looks okay so far. That spot back there is pretty pretty washed out. But yeah, you can see the road cuts way up there. And there's your beeline highway, Route 87. That's north going towards Payson, and then on the other side, that's south heading towards Phoenix, or probably more appropriately stated, Fountain Hills area, where Wico Pa Casino is. All right, let's get back. I don't see any evidence of anybody coming up this road. They'd have to get through that gate, but I don't want to be blocking this road forever. Yeah, this is pretty bad, man. Let's look at it from here. You can see here, this is a pretty tough spot. This is where a second pair of eyes would actually make this a lot easier. Just make sure there's not any really sharp metal here. And it's pretty smoothed out, but I think probably need to keep my tire to the left. Well, we'll see. We'll just get this over with carefully. And then this is the other spot that I'm concerned about, because there's definitely not enough width right here to stay close to the shelf like that. I'm thinking going into the ditch a little bit is gonna be my best bet. Yikes. I don't know, or maybe I should just come straight up this way. I don't know. Boy, oh boy. Good times. Let me see it from the cockpit maybe. Yeah, this is where you could really use somebody to maybe spot this one. I mean, I'm being overly cautious, I know. That's just my personality. I'm opting to crawl this slowly here in low gear. And then we'll switch it back to auto 4-drive when we get up there, but my parking brake's on. That would help if I take it off. It's just, you know, you gotta be careful, because you don't wanna, like if I went off to the right or to the left, and then my truck ended up tipping over. I mean, that's a real threat there. All right, there's a big rock right there. I feel it. Okay, let's see if we can get up and over this obstacle here. So far, that wasn't too bad, actually. All right, Slim. All right, I think I got the front up and over that metal pipe. Okay, I'm gonna just crawl it. Whew, that was a little exciting. I didn't scrape anything. I didn't feel any metal or anything like that. Just the wheels spun a little bit, trying to get grip on that back there. So far, whoever wrote the Onyx review is right on. I just think, first of all, road conditions change all the time. One heavy rain or something like that can change something that was written months or a year ago or 2 years ago. So, but it got a 3 out of 10 if I haven't mentioned that, which threes out of 10 are usually not that bad. I would say that spot there, though, is for many people. If I'm trying to give a review for like the general crowd, which could be anything maybe from a side-by-side to something else. But yeah, it's scary because you want to commit to doing this. Look at this. This is a mess, man. But when you commit, oh my gosh, there is a straight drop like right off to the left there. And this is just rock. So you want to give a good review to deter those that maybe shouldn't try it. but it won't satisfy the most hardcore of off-road drivers. I know sometimes they'll say, oh, that's a 2 for me. And that's fair, you know, whatever you say, but I would say this is the most washed out thing I've driven in a very long time, in fact. Oh, gosh. Oh my God. Holy moly. Wow, what a mess. What an absolute mess this is, to be honest. Oh my God. I feel like I'm being pulled to the left. My adrenaline's actually quite high right now, I'll be honest. Oh God, slow down, buddy. Oh shoot. I need to take a quick break, I think, and just hope nobody's coming. I need to survey this on foot more. I don't know what I'm gonna do though, because there's really nowhere to turn around. This is a mess of epic proportions, guys. What is this? So I think if I can get past this spot right in front of me, I'm gonna keep it in 4 low. Might start to be getting better, I don't know. But see how precarious this is here? I gotta take that pinstripe right there. There's no choice, really. I gotta get my tire up on this ledge a little bit here. Oh God. All right, we got through that. Holy moly. My heart's beating. This is not what I bargained for. This is not a 3 out of 10 in the current state in this part. I do expect it to get easier, but whew. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, there's some room to maneuver right there in case I change my mind. I don't want to change my mind though, but like these little spots here are just deceivingly difficult. It's a lot scarier in the truck than when you look at it on foot, but at the same time, man. All right, we got it. We got it. It's a lot of low. Whew. Man, I am still questioning this. Here's a spot where maybe I could maneuver and turn around if I wanted to. It's like you can't really see up the road enough to have confidence if you should keep going or not. It's very narrow too. Holy moly, man. Wow, I'm gonna take another look. I'm shaking, I really am. Okay, I went and scouted. I'll kind of talk as we make our way. I think we're like right up around here might be some of the remaining worst spots. Oh my God, dude. Oh. All right. Okay. So I think we're gonna go around a curve up here. So I made a decision to keep going because the prospect of the road, having faith that it's gonna get better, which I think it might be soon, is a lot less worrisome than trying to turn this truck around and get out of here. After this really sharp turn right here, we're gonna be heading up, but it looks like the terrain clears, and I'm hoping that might have to back up a little bit here. Boy, oh boy. Gonna just crawl really slowly, and once we get past right about here, I think we're gonna be happier. Looking straight ahead at that shelf road. I'm rusty, so first of all, it's been a long time. I'm not gonna give updates on personal stuff and what I've been up to, but just know I haven't done anything like this in a long time. You can tell this road's overgrown with plant life, so it's probably not traveled that much. But anyway, I thought, yeah, rather than going back down that thing, we're gonna hope it just stays clear and easier. And, you know, like I said, I know I'm just babbling at this point because I'm trying to concentrate and communicate at the same time. But the person that wrote the review definitely mentioned some rough times off the bat on the northern side. And I don't know if it was that bad when that person wrote the review, but, oh geez. I gotta stay way off to the left here. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully, see, this is what I'm looking for, something more along the lines like this. You want to talk about white knuckle? I would say this is the most white knuckle I've done in my entire off-roading or dirt roading career. I'll give more thoughts and talk about it, but that shelf is like right there. I'm being forced to like pretty much scrape up against plants. There's no other option. It's either that or tumble down the road, the hill. Gotta hug the side as we climb up. Oh yeah. Please, please, please. Let the worst be over. Please, please, please. And please don't give me a reason to have to turn around now. I'd say it's getting better, but there's still some spots. There were definitely some spots back there. I know I've scratched my truck up pretty good today. I didn't buy this truck to keep it perfectly pretty though. I mean, I bought this truck to do what it was meant to do. Holy smoke. All right, I'm feeling a little bit more calm at this point. So maybe if I can find a little spot to pull over safely here, I think there's room. I'm gonna try that and then we can talk, get some views of the terrain, and I'm gonna tell you now without having to worry about driving as much what I think and how it's going. My goodness. So you doing okay there, Slim? I know you like the thrill.
Oh yeah.
Of that, but boy, oh boy, that was something.
Weak sauce.
You can kind of see if we come up over here where we started from. Actually, you can see back down very well right now and see the road we actually came up. That's a better spot. I don't know if you could see that big pipe down there. That's a really sharp turn, but it's down in that gully in that little canyon area. You're pretty much following that all the way, kind of curves around the other side of this down to the Beeline Highway. But boy, oh boy. I'm just hoping now the road stays generally like this, because the way it was portrayed was that it's gonna get really easy at some point. Now, I'm not really one to tell people what they should do and what they should not do. That's why I make these videos, so you could see it for yourself. But I'm struggling to see how like a wider truck, you know, I'm in a Chevy Colorado ZR2, it's not a Silverado or something like that. I would think twice if you're in a big truck like that. Even if it's capable, it's really the width of the road and the shelf. I mean, there are times where you're just dealing with a foot or two going a little too far over the edge and taking a tumble on this thing for sure. And there's some really washed out spots. I mean, if someone says I'm not that wise today, I'm not going to argue with you. I think I would recommend having a second person with you after doing that. I mean, I pushed, like if I saw a clear way to turn around early on, I might have considered it. Clearly I made it and I'm alive, I'm doing well, but I'm not a huge risk taker either. I mean, especially down in that spot down there. No, thank you. That was gnarly. The gnarliness for me comes from those off camber situations where you're in your cab, I mean, everything's leaning off to the side and you're wondering in your mind how, you know, pushing the limit of that and then not tipping the truck over, it probably feels more extreme than it actually is. In reality, the truck's probably fine. But when you're in the cab and you're alone and there's nobody, you know, spotting you and guiding you through something like that, boy, oh boy, you know, that is one way to wake up. I thought this was gonna be a chilled out, easy adventure, and that's why I picked this. I thought this would be a good warm-up, and maybe at some point it was. Maybe that, you know, after a few heavy rains, these roads can get completely washed out, but you know, I don't know. I typically do like easy dirt roads, old mining roads that don't have a lot of, that are in that bad a shape and that narrow, so I'm just not as experienced perhaps is a fair way to look at it for that sort of thing. I've got some hours clocked doing this. My flight log is pretty full with Slim, but I pick and choose carefully and starting to calm down. I'm starting to be hopeful. And I couldn't tell you what's better or worse. I just like to get the hard stuff done first, and that's why I came from the north side, and if that's the worst of it, great. We'll have to see, but the prospect of going back is really what's carrying me forward. I do not want to go back the way we came, and that is more incentive to continue and has been the case since we started, because quite simply there was no turning around. It was going to be doing it in reverse, and that I can't imagine driving down this thing backwards. I mean, I got a camera on the back, but I mean, that's really what has propelled me now that I'm thinking this through and my brain is clearing up a bit. It's just there was no options until maybe you get, like that seemed like a spot where that sharp turn is, where with some maneuvering, you could probably get your truck turned around if it's slim like my truck's slim. My truck is a narrower, a smaller pickup truck than others, so. But it is beautiful country out here now that reality is starting to snap back here. So I'm opting to keep this thing in 4 low and crawl it slowly in low gear 4-wheel drive, at least for a little bit longer. I just want to ensure there's no more, like the worst of the worst is done, but I do suspect a few little white knuckle style maneuvers we might have to make. Just hopefully nothing as bad as what we've encountered thus far. Sorry, my phone fell. Like, see, like these little spots, like right here. I mean, these are, you know, you could see it rains, and the rain, whoa, the rain makes these huge ditches in the road. And they are not to be trifled with. And then the road, it's a shelf road. I mean, it's just, I know they had fires up here too, so maybe there were more trees and things to prevent you from tumbling all the way down to the bottom if you make a bad move, but and it's so curvy, it's like, I'm not gonna get out, I don't wanna get out every like 2 minutes and walk around and scout it. All for what? Like the prospect of going back through that hellish section back there, but like things like this are very worrisome. These really sharp spots that are clearly washed out. Holy crap. All right, this is a problem, I think. This might be a real problem. Dang it. Let me get out and look at this one. All right, I mean, I am looking at this. I don't like this here at all. There is a really washed out side. I gotta hug this very tightly and really cut as close to these rocks as I can here. Oh my God. I miscalculated a little bit. Gonna have to back her up just a bit. Oh man, there's a big washed out spot right to the right of me. Oh, big chunk of that road taken out. My goodness. I need some water. I need somebody here to wipe the sweat off my brow. Had I known this was gonna be like this, I think I would have talked myself out of it. So maybe I can help somebody else avoid a problem, even though we're doing well so far, we're making it. There just seem to still be surprises here and there. The next one might be right here, in fact. I don't know, there's another really big washed out spot. Jeez Louise, dude. I don't like this. I gotta get out and look at this. It's like the rain just washes down this wash and just literally washes out the road. All right, I had to turn the camera off. I actually turned around and started heading back the other way until I realized going from the other direction, one of the sharp turns I had to make. I don't think going the other way, it did not look doable. Like, it's hard to describe. So I was like frightened and worried, and that turn that I just had to make there was actually kind of worked out better because I did turn around and was going the other way. I had to go in reverse and drive using my camera looking out the back, which allowed me to back up on that really sharp turn there, pull off the road a little bit to like get a straight line to avoid a washed out part that just goes straight down. It's these really sharp spots here where you see it drop off, like these corners where clearly water during rains is just decimating the road and leaving these really steep drop-offs. This one's not bad. As long as you can hug the left side, you're okay, but then you gotta mind the back wheels too in a pickup truck. I don't have a shorter wheelbase like a Jeep or something like that, but I might have to just get out on foot and take a quick breath and calm down again, because I just had a moment of horror. Oh my gosh. This is so bad. This is rough. But just the best way, at least I'm off the road right here and I can take a break and not worry about somebody else pulling up on me. We could admire the landscape, catch our breath, and I'll show you the road up there. It's just really bumpy now and a lot of washed out things, but it's like when you're washed out on a shelf and if one tire or wheel goes over the side, it could be game over. I'm gonna also try to find out where we're at so far and how far we've gone. Whoever wrote that review, either the road was not as bad, maybe you were in a side-by-side or something even smaller, I don't know, but if you're even in this size pickup truck, this is a challenge. This is a challenge. You gotta stop every like 100 yards and figure it out. Bring somebody with you, for sure. I mean, honestly, my legs are a little jello-like right now just because of nerves and fear, and I'll describe the issue. It was that corner there. Getting around it from the approach we took was more doable, but then coming from the other way, it didn't look the same to me. I don't know what it was, but I had given up. I was just gonna say we're done. I'm not gonna release this episode at all. We're just gonna keep going. But now it's a case of, like, I just don't feel like I've got a good option to turn around. And you can see here, let's look at the road conditions here. Now this is wide enough, I can deal with this, although I do see a really large boulder in the middle of the road, which I do have clearance, but not like, you know, I'm not riding on big tires here either. Could probably get around that actually if I hug the left side. But the way it's portrayed, if you read the Onyx off-road review for this route, they make it sound easier than I think it actually is. Like, see, things like this can be difficult for me. If I can't, well, I might be able to go right up and over that. There's enough of a slant to it. But you see this? Ah, dang it. Like all of this. I feel like just calling in a helicopter and saying, pick me up, I'm done. So that's the danger, I guess, of tools like Onyx, is maybe you don't get the most up-to-date road conditions. Maybe this is why I'm having a hard time. And you can see, but it made it sound the way it was written. Oh yeah, there's a couple washed out spots. I'd say more than a couple. And it says once you get to a certain point, it's just a nice, leisurely, chilled out drive. So maybe on the other way, maybe a better way to do this actually would be to take that southern entrance to the top, depending on what you're driving in. This part here, less fear of going over the shelf, more fear of bottoming out a little bit if I don't connect just right, you know, because it's not wide enough. I mean, it's barely wide enough if I stay to the left. And then the trade-off always is scraping up your vehicle against the trees. And heaven forbid you encounter another off-roader in one of these moments. Yeah, like right here, I think I'm gonna try to squeeze through and avoid having to drive up on that rock. If I can get that, I think really just staying as far to the left is going to be the best policy, and keeping it in two-wheel drive. I might actually go walk up a little bit further and do some more surveying here, because every foot I drive in this thing, it's just more risk. If I do come to a total game over, then I got no choice. There's one spot I'm really worried about. Clearly I got through it. So you'd think doing the inverse would not be a problem, but from the cockpit, without a spotter, feels a little easier said than done. And if you look carefully, you could see the cut in the top of the mountain up there where the road goes. So I don't know where the peak is. I don't think that's the peak up there. I could be wrong. We started at a higher elevation. I'll consult my map, I guess, when we get in there, but we're gonna be way up there. I'm hoping it turns into that nice country drive that the person was talking about. You know, a big issue here, I think, is there was a bad fire a few years back. I remember that too, because I remember having to I remember the exact time, I don't remember the month, but I remember a trip I took where I was driving up north, up the Beeline, and there's a big traffic jam because of all the activity up here, but a lot of new growth is formed, but you can see a lot of dead growth. So I suspect that has something to do with the road conditions because there's less organic matter to maybe diffuse, I guess. I don't know the right term for that. Water flowing down the mountain, so it just cuts into it probably a lot more. So maybe once we get past this side of the mountain, because I think a lot of the fire was on this side if I remember, maybe that will be the hope that once we like get up there, for example, it looks pretty healthy and untouched. So maybe the fire didn't touch up there, meaning the road might be in better condition, hopefully. Guess we're gonna find out. Give you a view of the Beeline Highway where I came from. That's heading south towards Fountain Hills. This is what I'm dealing with and looking at. I can't see around all these bends, but there's a couple, you know, these corners are where the little washouts are. So I think if I just hug the side, we're good. There's only one obstacle. A dead tree. Small, but without a saw. I'm gonna be challenged to remove it. But I think this section, all in all, done slowly, hugging to the left, I think I'm gonna be just fine. And yeah, I know this is just a bunch of me panting now, partially because I just walked up the hill, but certainly because of nervousness. But I guess I found a dispersed campsite that I'm parked in now, so if anybody ever wanted to turn the other direction and try to go back, that would be the spot to do it. Really, for depending on the size of your rig, that might be the only feasible turnaround spot so far for some. But yeah, you see all this dead growth here? I need to try to do something about this here, because I'm gonna have to drive right through that. That's gonna go up my windshield, up and over. Probably knock my GoPro off the top of the roof if I'm not careful. All right, let me just see what I can do with this. All right, luckily, I was able to push that down. Wasn't easy, but I got it. This is low hanging too. I don't know if I can break off a piece of that there. I don't know. Probably just have to deal with that slowly. All right, man. Let's do this. Let's get this done while we admire the views from down below. I brought my drone today. Ironically, I was thinking, oh yeah, this would be great. Get some good footage of me driving up this thing. I need all hands on deck. But we're getting that drone's eye view anyway, aren't we? Of this. And then you can see how washed out it is. But I mean, if you envision it, if you got your tire on this left side and your right one's high up enough, like the deeper part in the middle, you're just gonna straddle that. All right, let's get this uphill climb done. Straighten it out, get a nice line to start. So we gotta start, get a good little straightaway on the start here. It looks worse when you're in the truck than it probably actually is. All right, I'm gonna just roll the cameras. I may not say much here other than focus. My biggest worry is that one boulder. It's not a loose boulder, it's just embedded in the road, but it could be a slight issue for me in this clearance. So we're gonna try to hug the left and just clear it, which I'm gonna take the scrapes as a trade-off, I think. And we're gonna just try to hug the left as best we can. And
try to keep those back wheels. Whoa. Okay, here's the next worrisome part. Get the right wheels up on the right. I think we got it. I think we got this. Okay. So far, so good, my friends. So far, so good. Stay to the left. Stay tight to the left. Gonna hit some of these plants. I got no real... All right, here's where I'm worried. I'm gonna hit the top of my roof. Hopefully I didn't lose the GoPro. Once I get to the top, I'll turn around and take a look. I don't like doing that, but I mean, realistically, I mean, this is my best play, I think. Using my judgment, I feel like I got more than I bargained for today, but here's another tricky spot. We're gonna have to stay far left here, try to stay straight as long as possible. Now we're gonna cut right. Okay, so far okay. All right, man. And then we're gonna try to stay left here. And here we're just gonna try to keep hugging that left side as best we can. There's some really washed out sections again. Oh my God. Oh boy. If I haven't said it yet, this is actually not much fun for me. Probably would be more fun if, like I said, I had another person with me to help spot and ensure a safer drive through here. I gotta do this, I think. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. And it's like you don't know what you're gonna come up on either. That's the worst part. It just doesn't seem to get that much better. Very rocky. Very, very rocky. And I'm just praying for some reprieve. Anything for some reprieve, man. It's frightening up here. This is gonna be a whole video of me just biting my fingernails, I know. Maybe it'll add to the adventure, I don't know. And knowing with the way the camera's positioned, it probably looks easy. But it feels frightening. Absolutely frightening. And it's like every twist and turn, every corner, you're just wondering and waiting, like, what am I going to encounter? Because a game over moment now and having to turn around is just, no thank you. It's like you want to take your chances. Whoa, geez, Louise. I'm waiting for the one person to drop a comment and say, do you think I can get through there in my two-wheel drive passenger car? One switchback after another. I'm just taking them one at a time here. Maybe there's another place where we can take another breather and just get out really quick and take a survey here. Get some more views, I guess. Some more overlooks. You can see the road straight ahead too. All right, another rung, another rung or two.
you could see way down there. That's approximately where we hooked up and came in here today. I could see the road down below. You know, if I start to feel hopeful again, like we're gonna survive this, which I'm slowly starting to hope. I mean, it's just like you still got to go all the way up there. That's that really high point that we saw from down below. Looking at Onyx Off-Roads, it's like I barely put a dent in this either. So, but so far, I feel like the higher up we go and the more out of the gullies we get, at least the less shelf drop-offs with washed out sections is all I could say. But if you were paying attention right up on this thing even, very off camber, lots of deep ruts, washed out sections pretty much the whole time. And let's just walk over here. It's almost like I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just go for it. But I guess the only disappointing part is really like, you know, still just the rating system on Onyx. I maintain, you know, I think a lot of the people that you see a review could have been written by somebody in a side-by-side. It'll tell you on there, like if it's okay for stock 4x4, like pickup trucks, Jeeps, which is what this is. The Chevy ZR2 is a fully capable off-road vehicle, front and rear locking differentials, four-wheel drive, of course. Think about 10 inches of clearance. It gets a factory boost, so it's lifted slightly, but compared to but it doesn't have the biggest tires, right? So I lack a little bit in clearance for a lot of these other off-roaders and pickup trucks. So that adds to my challenge on these types of things. And it's just, that's the difficulty I would say with those kind of tools, is that who rated it, what were they driving in, and when, especially the when, because you really can't blame somebody else too much for their subjective opinion. But this is a good example. It's rare that something turns out to be this like raising the hairs on the back of my neck kind of a road. All right, my hope is we get up to that straightaway way up there. It's pretty straight, so, and the terrain looks healthy. I don't really see any like burn. Well, I should take that back. I might see some. So who knows what we're gonna see up there, but it's straight. It's really the really sharp turns where I'm seeing the most problems today. So let's continue. Keep our fingers crossed. I really need this to be doable all the way through, please. Dirt roading gods, today I pray to you. See us through this safely. Now, I wouldn't disagree. Every once in a long while, you know, a concerned viewer is like, dude, you need to be careful. You know, you go out there on your own and stuff like that. And I hear you loud and clear. I just want to reiterate, I almost certainly would have said a hard no today, at least going alone to this particular route if I knew it was gonna be like the way it's been. So I don't disagree with you today. I'm in full agreement. It's something, I guess, I just don't know a good way. Like if you're dependent on that software and someone else's review from a ways back, I guess you're always going to be taking that risk. But when you see 3 out of 10, you could go through my whole back catalog and see many off-roading adventures, many 3 out of 10s, 2 out of 10s, whatever. And I don't think you're going to find something this gnarly in even the 4 out of 10s that I've done. From some of the spots that I've hit, at least for a pickup truck today, I'm gonna say this is for me, my subjective rating, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 today. And I think a lot of that 5's coming from
the lack of maneuverability, having the larger wheelbase or the longer wheelbase of a pickup truck, trying to do some of these really sharp corners with washed out sections and drop-offs. That's really been the reason for a 5 out of 10, and maybe 5 out of 10 for sure if you're gonna solo like I did today. Because and then just the anticipation too of every corner, like what's coming up here, what am I gonna find? Is it gonna be too tight? Is it gonna be washed out? What are we gonna have? Dead trees falling everywhere. At least I guess you're off camber here, but leaning inward. Man, this is gnarly. So from a distance, you just say, oh, this is just all straight up the hill. But no, not at all. This is very curvy, very washed out here. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Yeah, it's just not getting any better at all. Man, I'm just plowing through dead trees. Yeah, you don't see all these like curves from down there. Just driving right over all of the plants and stuff. Oh my God. No relief, man, no relief. Oh my God. All right, I have to try to clear this road a little bit here. All right, I had to bend that tree down. I mean, nobody's been through here recently, I don't think. And I gotta hug the right side, unfortunately. It's just, I got no choice here. And it's just a straight drop down. And all of the plants are growing right into the road. Slim, I owe you big time. If you can get me through this, buddy. You're doing awesome so far. This is frightening. Oh my gosh. All right, whoever wrote that Onyx review, buddy, where is the easy part, my friend? You didn't write it to make it sound like this. You made it sound like there was just a couple washed out sections, not this whole uphill frightening thing we're doing here. Ay, ay, ay. I'm just waiting for like a nice I hate doing this, man. I hate this. This sucks. Alrighty, so I actually drove up. There's a corner right there. Big ditch, like definitely washed out. I would say a 90-degree turn, like easily 90 degrees, maybe even tighter than 90, with like a washed out section. I don't know if it's physically possible to, with a wheelbase like this, the length of this truck, to make that turn, which sucks, because now I got to go back the way I came through the worst parts again. But that's just too risky.
And I see the road just keeps curving and curving and curving. I can't even see where the road goes beyond that. So I'm having to abort and reverse direction as much as I really don't want to. I've already risked way too much so far. I've made it this far, so that's the good news, but no more. I can't take any more. So yeah, I mean, I guess this will be an interesting video. Maybe the first time I've had to call off a drive. I mean, it should be adventurous so far, but I still think it's going to be worth putting this video out, hopefully, for someone else to see it, to maybe prevent the same mistake that I made today. Hopefully, the mistake is mainly just a few extra pinstripes, and that's the total cost, but there is one more turn, not dissimilar from this one. This one's harder, that I'm gonna have to really take my time. Clearly, I got around it to get this far, but you know, if I can get past that turn, then it's still gonna be white knuckle, but you could see where we started, in fact. There's like a paved, probably hard to see without me zooming in, but straight down where the road is the very beginning of the trail where the gate is. So we've come up very high, and you could see the road curving and curving, but it's just in no shape, unfortunately, at this time in 2026, I would say this is pushing it. This smaller sized pickup, certainly not solo. If it is possible to make that turn, I need a spotter. I can't risk it without a spotter, or else my truck might be tumbling down today. All right, let's focus and head back on down the mountain. Probably not gonna have much intelligent to say or entertaining to say on the way back down. It's just gonna be a reverse of all that, and boy does it suck. I was really betting on the road just being in bad shape for maybe not even a mile coming up this thing, but it is just consistently bad. It has not improved one iota. And now the left side of the truck is gonna get beat up and scratched up, I guess, so that's all right. Just take it slow. And I guess going down, you'll get some good views. At least, maybe it'll make for an exciting video. Ow. Man. God dang. It's also a lot of sharp rocks, you know, that you could hit your sidewall on going down this thing, and you can't really even see the road half the time. I mean, you could see, if the plants are growing this much, people aren't driving this thing. It's actually scarier going downhill than it was uphill. As long as it leans inward and not outward, I guess I'll take that. Oh my goodness. Definitely the least enjoyable. I'm gonna just straight up call this off-roading. Because there ain't much of a road here to speak of at times. I guess Chevy, you build a good product. I'll give you that. Mechanically, it feels solid. This truck feels great to drive. It's just the frightening nature of every twist and turn that makes it not fun, but the truck hasn't really struggled. And at times when I see something that looks really gnarly and I actually drive over it, it ends up not feeling as scary. But then you got little places like this
which I'm not a fan of, but you know, we got no choice at this point. It's either get off this mountain or not. The Mount Ord Nightmare is what I think we need to label this video. I got past the two really sharp turns. There's one more really sharp one, but that one back there was the one that really worried me. It's not dissimilar from the one that I passed on, but I could now see for sure this one was a lot more tame than the one that caused me to turn around. So I have no regrets. You know, I really didn't want to come back here for that obstacle, that really sharp turn with a washed out section right back there. And I don't want to say that the worst is over, because I know there's some tricky spots left, but we're getting a lot further down the mountain. The thing that was really making me nervous, and I didn't even want to film or talk, I was running the top camera, was that anticipating that last turn. So I kind of had to do almost like a 3-point situation, like start to turn back up, start to turn back up. All the meanwhile, like looking right out my window is whoo, straight down. So there was very little room for error in that spot. Now my mind is a blank, because this whole thing, I've been running on adrenaline this whole time. So I don't know. I'm wondering if there's an old mine here. It looks like maybe the foundation for like an old head frame or something, but I'm not in the mood. I'm in the mood for getting off this thing. I want to be let off. Let me out. Let me out, please. I think I'm going to have to kiss the ground if I make it back to the beginning in one piece, and with the truck too. Yeah, now we're going into these deep gullies where, you know, at first we had all those washed out sections. Clearly not enough to deter me, so I'm wondering if on the way back down, maybe the stuff that I've already encountered was the worst. I know once we get past some of these sharp turns up here, or down here I should say, I feel like we're gonna start to have hope. I'm sorry, folks. I don't think I've ever backed out on a adventure before like this. I think this is I can't remember if I did or not. It feels like this might be my first abort on the Cactus Atlas since I've owned this truck, and I've had a couple times where I've thought about it, but I guess we're documenting it for the ages. All right, we're getting towards the bottom for sure. Oh yeah, here's that early obstacle that I was worried about, that metal pipe and that steep drop off. We're about to hit it now. I think I got plenty of clearance, so don't hear any scraping. Stay off to the left here, I guess. I think that may have been the worst of the worst is over, I think. This is where I was really starting to question it going uphill in the beginning. And I can tell you though, you know, the worst parts actually were the really sharp, like 90 degree or close to 90 degree hairpin turns with just, all of them are washed out. You could tell water just kind of flows down those creases, probably because of the burn scar, and just carves away. So you're literally dealing maybe with inches to a foot is really the difference between you staying on the road and you flipping your vehicle and having it tumble downhill over and over. I mean, my goodness. I try to keep it family friendly, so you hear me saying a lot of my goodness, but when the camera's turned off, I assure you that's not how the language has been. I think I should be excused today, but I think we've officially gotten back to the bottom, and the truck is, save for a few pinstripes, I think the truck is totally fine. Didn't really bottom out on anything today. It was really just gonna be some new scratches that this never had, probably most of which I assume I'm gonna be able to buff out. There's the I don't know if you remember when we were way up there, I was pointing the camera and I said, oh, there's a paved, like, I don't know if I called it a bridge. It's not really a bridge, but over this wash, this paved section right here is what I was referring to from way down below. All right, let's talk. Let's talk. Woo! All right, I'm gonna just film this historic moment where I'm alive and my truck is still here with us, and drive through the gate that I just opened, and then we'll close it. Wanted to make it official. I have to drive through this to close off the episode, I think. And by the way, I was kind of on this side where the sun was, you know, shining into the side of the truck where I could really see those scratches, and I was like, oh, yeah, zoinks. But then I used my finger and really just did one of these, and now that I had the light helping focus on it, I can say with really good certainty, like, everything is buffed out. So I think my prediction about some of these plants that I was having to hug, you know, and stay up against, they were softer, I guess, not as thorny. I don't know. I've got a couple pinstripes. They're really hard to see on white. Why I like white, I guess, now as a vehicle. My truck always looks nice. And I can say with confidence, with a nice little car wash, I think he's gonna look all pretty. I think he earned a nice car wash when I get back into town. So, holy moly, I don't know how this is gonna come out. I mean, I've been out here for a good couple hours, 2.5 hours filming nonstop. So I know I got footage, mainly from these GoPros, but nothing intelligent. If you were here for a history lesson or facts, you didn't get them today. This became a mission of survival. Man, what the heck? Woo! I had to kiss the ground. I had to kiss the ground here. I've never, I mean, clearly we made it, right? And, all right, let's look back towards, I mean, we were definitely way up there, and it was still going up. You can't really tell from here, but I couldn't even see where the road was going. I just saw many more hairpin curves past the one that I called it quits on. That was too risky, way too risky. That I could have ended up rolling over and over upside down a hill with nothing to stop me and potentially die. Oh, by the way, I should have said this earlier. If you want to attempt this,
I mean, you get off right at the Beeline Highway exit right here, and it's Trail 27 or Forest Road 27. Caution, steep, rocky, rough. I will 100% vouch for that, and then some. It was a mess of a road. Something, like I said, I would think twice about. I just wouldn't do it, actually. So if you want to call me a wimp, whatever you like, there's always that guy out there. I say guy because it's guys, right? If you're in a side-by-side and give me a hard time and you've never taken a pickup truck up something like that, why don't you give that a try and then come talk to me? By yourself, mind you, with nobody with you. So hopefully that gives me a little bit of street cred. And I guess maybe just maybe, if my life depended on it and I had to push and figure out a way around that curb, where there's a will, there's a way. I should have filmed it to show you guys what I was dealing with that. But and there were a couple sections I had to take it in reverse, maybe about 100, 200 yards, navigating curves with a shelf, using the cam on the back of the truck when I'm in reverse. In a way, that might have actually been easier, and maybe that's why I need a trail cam on the front. This use case really could have used a trail cam. Maybe that would change the game for me. Something I'm going to consider. One question I have for anybody that's familiar with this road is, how much further do you think I would have had to go? I mean, we were up all the way up there, and somewhere I think around that corner, I think we got all the way up to the top and it starts to wind and there's switchbacks. Was that really, I'll point it out maybe to Amy, the editor. I'll put a pin on Onyx for her, so when we're watching the episode, you guys know the precise place that I turned around on. But like I said, I would say it was even more than a 90-degree turn with a washed out section of road that just went straight into a very steep descent. If a wheel fell off there, like I said, that was 100% game over. Too risky, and not enough room to maneuver so I could kind of like inch my way, pull forward, pull backwards, and straighten it out like I had to do in some other spots. But I would be curious how far some of you reckon I was. If you see that pin on the map where I got to, how much further would I have to go before the road supposedly turns into like a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10, like a true, something like, I'm thinking like this right here in front of us, this type of road. I thought most of the ride was going to be like this. That was when I hear 3 out of 10, this is what I'm thinking of, with maybe some spots like that where there's potential without clearance, you might bottom out. I'll even give or take a few of those gnarly spots that we had to kind of crawl up where that rusted out pipe was. That's cool. I'll still go for a 3 out of 10 if there's a couple of those, but it was non-stop. There was no reprieve. But the funny thing is that I chose this particular thing because I haven't filmed for the Cactus Atlas, as some of you know, since like last August. So I figured, let's just start off with an easy, chilled out, dirt road, scenic drive up a mountain where we're gonna get fantastic views, and we would have if we kept going. But that was my intent. I came here today just all relaxed, just low rider, driving down the road, no problemo. Yeah, there's a couple, people say a couple washed out ruts, no problemo. Done it a million times. So, boy, did I have a wake-up call. Mount Ord. I think what I might try some other time is we'll take that southern approach and see if it's true. Maybe not today, because this episode is probably long enough. But maybe one time we'll try what's supposed to be the easy part, go to the top and then do a in and out, and then just leave this section alone. If that review is true, then, and you could see the other way coming in, going up, it seems a lot less like doing switchbacks, and it's a little bit more of a straight line up. So if it didn't take me a couple hours to do what we did to get off the mountain, I might even consider doing that today. But maybe we'll have the return to Mount Ord as an episode, upcoming episode in the Cactus Atlas future, but for now I'm just gonna leave it as a memory, a learning, words of caution, and take things seriously on roads like this. If you know there was a fire, I would say, because I think that's likely what caused most of the conditions we saw up there. Just water can run down now in places that previous plant growth must have prevented and kept everything like a little bit more stable. But what a way to kick off the renewed Cactus Atlas career. So if you enjoyed that, don't expect too many more like that on the channel. The ones that I have planned in the near future, I could say with extremely high confidence, are gonna be our usual speed and nothing like that. So thank you for watching this. Hopefully it entertained somebody, hopefully it helped somebody, and hopefully it didn't make me look stupid. And it probably did, and probably made me look like a wimp, but I don't care. See you next time.